let's talk about phase shifts. So we're going to do the exact same thing we've always done. So let's talk about the amplitude first. Amplitude on this one, there's nothing in front, so that means it's a secret 1. Amplitude is 1. Vertical shift is adding or subtracting outside. I don't have any of that this time, so that's none. Period is what's being multiplied to the x inside. I have a secret 1 being multiplied to my x, so that means my period is the basic period. Nothing's changed. And now I have my phase shift. Phase shift is adding or subtracting inside. And don't forget, because it's inside, it's opposite direction. So, because it's inside, it's left or right, and it's opposite. So this is actually going to move right pi fourths. And don't forget the direction attached to that pi fourths, either right, R-I-G-H-T, right, or you can draw an arrow going to the right, so I know that you understand that. And last step, this is a cosine wave, a positive cosine wave, so it'll look like that. So let's go through and graph. Vertical shift is first, there's none, so it stays on the x-axis. Amplitude is up 1, down 1. Pretty skinny boundaries this time. Now my phase shift is right pi fourths. So what I'm going to do is make a little tick mark right here, and I'm going to call that tick mark pi fourths. So then that way I can move right pi fourths. So instead of on the y-axis, starting here, I have moved my starting point right pi fourths. Now, I still need to move 2 pi over. So let's keep going with our tick marks. That would make this pi halves, which would make this pi, which would make this 3 pi halves, make that 2 pi. Now, I still want this wave to be 2 pi long, so I need to go 2 pi more to make sure it's a full 2 pi long, which would put my boundary line right there, because that is a full 2 pi long. So now I draw my cosine shape, starts at the top, goes to the middle, down to the bottom, back to the middle, and up to the top again. There's my cosine shape. Notice that I'm still taking my 2 pi box and cutting it into fourths so that I can draw out each section accurately. And then there's my cosine wave. Now I'm going to need another 2 pi so I can graph at least 2 full waves. So I'm going to come the other direction. So pi halves, pi, negative 3 pi halves, negative 2 pi. And I want to go 2 pi this way now, which would put my boundary line there so that the whole thing, the whole box is 2 pi long. And then I repeat my cosine shape again. Top, middle, bottom, middle, top. And there's your cosine wave. So now you have practiced amplitude, vertical shifts, and phase shifts. I would like you to try one on your own. And this time I'm not going to fill in this part with you. I want you to come up with what should all these numbers be, and then graph them in the right order to come up with your wave. So pause the video and try that out now. Let's check your work. So first off, amplitude is 2, vertical shift is up 1, period hasn't been changed, so that's the basic 2 pi. Phase shift is left pi thirds, and this is a sine shape. So let's do them in the right order. Vertical shift first, I went up 1, there's my vertical shift line. Amplitude, I went up 2 and down 2 from that line to make my boundary lines. Phase shift, I moved left pi thirds, so there's my starting point at left pi thirds. And period, I still need this box to be 2 pi long. So I went out to 2 pi and then back 1 to make sure my box is 2 pi long. And I did that on the other side to make a second wave. Notice that I still took my boundary box and divided it in fourths to make my points accurate. So this time it was 1.5 boxes to get to each thing. But they're still evenly divided up in fourths to get each section correct. So that is how we deal with amplitude, vertical shifts, and phase shifts. The last one we need to do is periods, and that is the next video.